Hi, I'm Dr. Stella Vnook, and I have spent over 25 years leading breakthrough innovations in pharma, in biotech, and life sciences. I'm currently CEO of Likarda, and I'm a founder of multiple companies like Oral Biolife, Kaida, and I serve on boards such as Firefly Neurosciences. Across all these ventures and in my career in large pharma, I've scaled teams from concept to commercialization in just about every area, whether it's cardiovascular, oncology, AI-driven diagnostics, and regenerative medicine. All of these areas have one thing in common. It's under high-stakes regulatory scrutiny, ever-changing environment, and investment scrutiny. People often ask me how I managed to be a CEO of such a large company and form, advise multiple ventures simultaneously. Well, the truth is, it all starts with an exceptional team. Whether you are in a large pharma and leading a team of 2, 3, 500 people, or you're building a company from one single founder. So today, I'd like to share what it really takes to build a high-performance biotech team, and the kind that really transforms the bold scientific vision into a meaningful, real-world outcomes that benefits patients. I like to think of it as 4 pillars as we're building a foundation. So let's start with the first pillar, of course, hire for vision and execution alike. In biotech, talent isn't just about academic pedigree or years in pharma. It really is about a mindset. The best hires that I have had on my teams are able to balance strategic vision with the operational precision. I look for team members who can translate science into strategy. Those that are comfortable making hard calls in ambiguous settings. And ambiguity has to be our best friend. Think scientists who understand commercialization and commercial leads who respect the bench. That is a great way to start. As an example, we'll be building a team at Likarda. We had state-of-the-art, amazing scientific team. So we were missing the other side of that perspective, which is the strong commercialization and execution team. So we had to balance it, and we hired commercial experts, excellent finance team, regulatory, people for commercial strategy, and those that can work cross-functionally and scale fast without losing that scientific depth. Or in Kaida BioPharma, where we brought the mix of oncologists and regulatory experts with manufacturing and finance skills people who could take the product quickly from preclinical phase into phase 1. So now that we have our cross-functional team that can communicate well and understand well, let's move into the pillar number 2. Embed regulatory and market strategy early. Common mistakes I have seen are people waiting too long to bring in regulatory expertise or market access or market dynamics experts. In reality, these functions must be embedded from day one. How would you know which indication is the right indication to launch a product with if you have multiple choices? How do you know if the product is going to be covered once it's commercialized? You must understand how to answer these questions in order to appropriately position your product. In all of my companies, we engage with FDA early. We understand how, whether it's a hydrogel platform or a single asset, will sharpen the messages for our investors, our partners, and what will it mean for patients. You want your team thinking about IND-enabling studies, about market shaping, about value-based medicine and healthcare outcomes models now, not after Series B. Going back, repositioning, realigning the indication is going to be very costly. So I believe that you should start strong and spend the time to do it right. Now, let's move on to the third pillar, which is culture. Culture is your hidden IP. And it's very important because especially if you're looking at a startup or if you're looking at a large team you're coming into, in high growth biotech culture is not a luxury. It is your multiplier. A strong culture aligns execution, retains top talent, and builds resilience during pivots and trials, and those will absolutely happen. I often say, don't just build companies, we build leaders. That means mentoring young scientists, investing in diverse leadership, and creating a psychologically safe environment for innovation and failure alike in all of my endeavors. Culture of empowerment helps us rapidly develop therapies, attracting not only great minds, but also mission-aligned investors. From large pharma to huge teams that I have led to an N of one early startup from the bench. Culture is critical. Make sure you have the right individuals with the right mindset leading this company, this asset. Now that we have all of the three pillars standing, now let's move into pillar number 4, which is build scalable infrastructure. I have gone through a lot of transitions, joint ventures, acquisitions, and one thing is sure, if you build a company right, it is easier to scale it. So think if you're a young startup, a clean website, professional email, perhaps early social media presence aren't optional. They're a signal of credibility to investors, partners, and talent. I hear all the time, we will do it later, or we will get to it later. Well, I'll tell you, you should get to it early. You don't need daily posts, but a minimal digital footprint is a must. Add in a nice pitch deck, data room, IP strategy, and a cap table, and you're ready to start raising capital and building momentum. At the early stage, every biotech begins with a lab notebook. I remember I had those. Or it's digital twin perhaps in these days. But almost immediately you need QuickBooks to pay invoices, make a decision, is it LLC, is it a C Corp, is it an S Corp, to formalize the business, and framework for managing IP, equity, contract. It gets complicated and it can get messy if you're not set up properly. Setting a foundation wrong and you'll be ripping it up just when you should be scaling out. And believe me, I have been through a lot of acquisitions and business deals and integrations. You really want to get this right. A strong foundation includes more than just operations. A solid launch pad goes beyond the back office mechanics. Clean website is a must. A layer in investor-ready pitch deck, and you are golden. This is where Agile Consulting Group steps in as your corporate architect. We design modular scalable operating system that grows in lockstep with your science. By deploying a fractional C-suite leaders, we guide spin-outs, partnerships, go-to-market plans without draining early resources, which understood are limited. So we just covered the 4 pillars for any company, whether you are a startup or a large company, or you're considering a joint venture. In closing, building a high-performance biotech team is not just about talent. It is about orchestration, visionary leadership, integrated execution, and the culture of purpose are your greatest assets. If you're scaling a biotech venture or looking for strategic support, from board composition to FDA strategy, please reach out. Let's build the future of healthcare one breakthrough team at a time. Thank you.